Martin Luther King Jr. is an iconic figure in American history, celebrated not only for his pivotal role in the civil rights movement, but also for his profound philosophy, way of life, teachings, and his visionary view of the world. Born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, King emerged as a charismatic leader who advocated for racial equality, justice, and nonviolent social change during a tumultuous period in American history. At the heart of Martin Luther King's philosophy was the principle of nonviolence. Influenced by Mahatma Gandhi's teachings of passive resistance, King believed that change could be achieved through peaceful means. He argued that violence only perpetuated hatred and division, while nonviolent resistance had the power to awaken the conscience of oppressors and create lasting change. His commitment to nonviolence was a cornerstone of his activism and became the guiding principle for the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King lived his life in accordance with his principles. He embodied the values he preached, dedicating himself to the cause of civil rights and equality. Despite facing threats to his life and experiencing violence and discrimination, King maintained his commitment to nonviolence and love for humanity. He sought to bridge the divides between races and unite people in the pursuit of justice and equality. King's teachings were rooted in the Christian faith and the principles of justice and love found in the Bible. He often invoked the concept of the beloved community, a vision of a society where people of all races and backgrounds could coexist harmoniously. His eloquent speeches and writings, such as the I Have a Dream speech delivered during the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, continue to inspire generations with their call for racial harmony and equality. Martin Luther King's view of the world was one of hope and optimism, even in the face of adversity. He believed that the arc of the moral universe was long but bent toward justice. King envisioned a future where racial discrimination would be eradicated, and all individuals would be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. He saw the potential for a more inclusive and equitable society, and he inspired countless others to work towards that vision. Martin Luther King Jr. played a central role in the American civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. As a leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, he organized and led numerous protests, boycotts, and marches to challenge racial segregation and discrimination. One of the most significant events in his activism was the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955-1956, which successfully ended segregated seating on public buses in Montgomery, Alabama. King's leadership and commitment to nonviolence during these campaigns were instrumental in gaining national attention and support for the civil rights cause. On August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, King articulated his vision of a racially integrated and harmonious America. He called for an end to racial segregation and discrimination, envisioning a future where his children would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by their character. The march and King's speech were pivotal moments in the civil rights movement, helping to build momentum for the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy extends far beyond his lifetime. His tireless advocacy for civil rights and social justice brought about significant legal and societal changes in the United States. His influence can be seen in the dismantling of Jim Crow laws, the desegregation of schools, and the expansion of voting rights for African Americans. Furthermore, King's principles of nonviolence and his message of love and unity continue to inspire movements for justice and equality around the world. His emphasis on peaceful resistance has been adopted by activists globally, from the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa to contemporary movements advocating for human rights and social change. Martin Luther King Jr. received numerous accolades for his work, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. However, his life was tragically cut short when he was assassinated on April 4, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee. His death shook the nation, but his dream and legacy endure. Martin Luther King Jr.'s ideas and principles are as relevant today as they were during the Civil Rights Movement. His call for nonviolence, justice, and equality continues to inspire individuals and movements worldwide. In an era marked by social and political divisions, his message of unity and understanding remains a powerful force for positive change. King's life and work have served as a source of inspiration for countless activists and leaders in various fields. His ability to mobilize people around a common cause and his unwavering commitment to peaceful protest serve as a model for effective activism. Movements such as Black Lives Matter draw inspiration from his legacy as they advocate for an end to racial injustice and police brutality. While significant progress has been made in the fight for civil rights, challenges persist. Racial disparities, systemic racism, and discrimination continue to affect marginalized communities. Income inequality, disparities in access to quality education and healthcare, and the ongoing struggle for voting rights all underscore the unfinished business of the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King's work reminds us that the fight for justice is ongoing and requires continued vigilance and dedication. The life and teachings of Martin Luther King Jr. are integral to American education and are commemorated each year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a federal holiday observed on the third Monday in January. Schools, organizations, and communities across the United States use this day to reflect on King's legacy and engage in discussions about civil rights, social justice, and racial equality. Martin Luther King Jr.'s impact extends far beyond the borders of the United States. His message of nonviolence and his fight for civil rights have inspired movements for change worldwide. Leaders and activists in other countries have drawn on his philosophy and tactics to address their own struggles for justice and freedom. Perhaps one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s most enduring legacies is the sense of hope he instilled in people. In the face of adversity and opposition, he maintained an unwavering belief in the possibility of a better world. His dream of a truly integrated and equitable society continues to inspire individuals to work toward that goal, fostering hope for a future where all people are treated with dignity and respect regardless of their background. In conclusion, Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy, way of life, teachings, and vision of the world have left an indelible mark on history. His commitment to nonviolence, justice, and equality continues to inspire and guide those who strive to create a more just and inclusive society. As we reflect on his legacy, we are reminded of the enduring power of individuals to bring about positive change and the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of adversity. Martin Luther King Jr. remains a symbol of hope, a catalyst for progress, and a reminder that the pursuit of justice is a noble and ongoing endeavor. We encourage you to take a moment to reflect on the lessons and values that Dr. King imparted to us. Let his life's work inspire you to make a positive difference in your own community and in the world. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, please consider liking and sharing it with others. By spreading the message of Dr. King, we can work together to create a more just, inclusive, and equitable society. Thank you for watching, and may we all strive to keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream alive in our hearts and actions.